Hey, what's going on, guys? It's your boy Tyler St. Onge, and I'm back with another wholesaling video. This video's topic is going to be discussing the pros versus the cons of off-market properties. Before we get into the video, make sure you go ahead and make sure you're subscribed. Hit that notification bell so you can know whenever my videos are dropped immediately. Make sure you hit that like button as well. Let's get right into the video. We're going to start off with our pros list. Let's just put our pros list right here. Okay, so number one on the pros list is going to be direct contact to seller. Oh my gosh, if you know anything about wholesaling or you don't, you will know this. So whenever you're doing on-market properties, you can only talk to the real estate agent, and that's frustrating. I know it's only you to the real estate agent to the seller, but a lot of stuff can get lost in translation. So having that direct access to the seller on off-market properties is a lifesaver. It just is, because then they can get your vibe. You guys can, you can understand what their vibe is, and you can kind of match with it and make a connection, make a deal happen. Number two, you can write your own terms and conditions in your contract. Oh my gosh, that's awesome. This is a huge help because you can write exactly what you want down in the contract, send it to the seller, and they're not really gonna question it. Whenever you're doing on-market properties, it sucks because the realtor is gonna write the contract, and sure, you can have them put some of your terms in there, but they're not gonna be able to, write the perfect contract for you to benefit you in every single way. So you just kind of have to figure that out whenever you're doing it with a realtor. It's just more of a hassle to do it with a realtor. Number three, this kind of ties in with number two, writing your own conditions, but little to no earnest money. When you're doing off-market properties, you can write in your contract saying, the buyer will submit an earnest money deposit on day of closing. So that gets you out of putting an earnest money deposit down. That means the investor is going to put it down. Or B, you can put like $100, $50, $20, whatever you want to put in your contract. As opposed to an on-market property, they're going to want you to put more down. They're going to want you to put anywhere between $500 to $3,000 worth of a deposit down, and that can be, kind of hurtful to a beginner wholesaler. So that's something you want to look out for. Number four, less competition. With on-market properties, it's just everyone can see it on Redfin, everyone can see it on Zillow and call them and make an offer. So it's very competitive when it's an on-market property. So that's why this is number four on the pros list for off-market properties, because there's less competition. The person who contacted this person on an off-market property had to go through a series of steps to be even able to find that property. So it's less likely that someone has talked to them. Doesn't mean that no one's talked to them, because they might be doing the same stuff you are to where they would have gotten this number the same way you did, but there's less people doing it, if that makes sense. So less competition is always good. Number five, wholesaling doesn't really matter to the seller. At the end of the day, they're gonna get their money. They don't really care. They might be butthurt, but who cares at the end, because they're not gonna find out till closing day. Whenever you have a third person, a real estate agent, who might ask a lot of questions, if they find out you're a wholesaler, they might terminate the deal completely because they don't know if you're actually gonna follow through with finding an investor, and that's a risk that they're not willing to take. So that's a negative with being on market. Some real estate agents, once they find out you're a wholesaler, they might not like you and might not wanna work with you. Number six, and the final one, it's seller market friendly. And what I mean by that, you kind of need to know the definition of both buyer's market and seller's market to completely understand what I'm saying. I'll have a whole video on it on its own here soon. But anyways, what I mean by it's seller's market friendly is because whenever it's a seller's market, on-market properties are basically not even an option, because in a seller's market, there's not enough properties on the listing. And if there is, it's gone immediately and people are paying 20% more for it. So I recommend looking especially for off-market properties during a seller's market when there's not as much inventory and you're looking for people who haven't thought about selling it. So that's what you need to do. All right, so now on to kind of what it ties into pros and cons. I call them necessary evils. There's two of them. One, subscription services to help you find these people. Necessary evil. You have to pay for it, so that's a con, but you get a return out of it. That's the pro. That's why it's a necessary evil. So subscription services. So, ringless voicemail, for example, PropStream, for example, whatever subscription service. If you use Microsoft Excel to keep track of everything, that costs money. Anything that helps you get your list or helps you get an advantage in wholesaling, that's a necessary evil, along with buying lists of people to contact. Necessary evil. So those are the two necessary evils that you need to be prepared for. I know everybody who talks about wholesaling, they're like, you don't need any money. That's not true. You need subscription services, and you also need to be buying lists of people, unless you want to drive for dollars. I didn't have very much success in that, so I don't personally drive for dollars. Moving on to the cons, there's only 3 of them, but starting with number 1, cold calling. It sucks. It's just what you have to do. Either cold calling, cold texting, ringless voicemail, you have to talk to these people to get a deal going. It is what it is. There's no way around it. It sucks, but hey, if you want to make money, that's what you got to do. Number 2, the type of people that you're gonna be cold calling, they're gonna be giving you disrespectful messages back. They're gonna say, fuck you, get a real job, something, whatever. They're gonna be mean. They're not even gonna just say no. Some of them do, but a lot of them, they're rude, right? But some of them rightfully so, because people like us, we're all buying lists and they're getting messages 100 times a day. So I understand on their point of view, but at the same time, it sucks for your point of view because you're just one person. You can't control everybody else who's doing it. Number 3, time. It takes a lot of time to do these cold calls. It takes a lot of time of talking to a bunch of people, weeding out through the no's to get to the yeses, and weeding through the yeses to get to full-on contracts. It takes a lot of time. That's just something you gotta look into on that. And last, I guess there's 4. I think I said there's 3 cons, but there's 4 cons. But last is you're gonna come across as scammy. So I don't call every single person on there on my list. I text the ones who have cell phone numbers, and I call the people who only have landlines. And whenever you're doing that, either or, people are gonna think you're a scam. If you're texting them, they think it's a texting robot, someone trying to scam them from Nigeria, whatever. You just need to figure out a way to ensure to them that you're not a scammer, and then blah, blah, you're gonna be good. Sometimes it's not a matter of, they think you're a real person, they just wanna say fuck you regardless. But sometimes they're gonna think you're a scammer, and that's an obstacle you're gonna have to overcome. So yeah, those are my pros. Here's my cons, and here are the necessary evils. All of it you gotta take in consideration before you try to wholesale. If it's worth your time, to me it is, it might not be to you. But anyways, like always, make sure you subscribe, like, notification bell. You can go ahead and follow me on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, all of that. Just to keep up on everything with me. It also helps me out in the future. So yeah, once again, like always, have a good day, and I hope to see you in the next video. Peace.